In this project, we are building WordPress application on AWS. So as prerequisites, we need AWS account and a domain and some basic knowledge on Linux. So if you look at this diagram, so we have a domain at GoDaddy, and then someone reaches AWS hero.shop, it goes to GoDaddy, and then it forwards requests to Route 53 because we are going to update name servers, and then Route 53 forwards traffic to load balancer, and then that load balancer gonna forward traffic to EC2, and this EC2 machine talks to RDS, and we are going to implement a proper security as well at the AWS. So let's jump in. If you go to AWS, go to your VPC, you can search for it and then create VPC. Choose VPC only. I'm gonna go with manual way. So if you want to know how to do this, we have a AWS Zero to Hero series playlist in AWS, in YouTube video, so you can have a look at that. So I'm gonna do WordPress and then IP address, create VPC. Once you do this, jump into subnets. So we are going to create 4 subnets, 2 private ones and 2 public ones, and I'm going to choose different AGs for each subnet. I mean for public and private, that's what I mean. So create pub sub 1, and then I'm going to use 1A for this public subnet, 192.168.1.0/24. This is, and then one more subnet, pub sub 2. I'm going to choose 1B, and then 192.168.2.0/24, and then private subnet 1, private 1, and then it's going to be in 1A, 192.168.3.0. Basically I'm using this one incremental order, and then let's create one more. This is private 2. I'm gonna choose 1B for this, 192.168.40/24. Create subnets, and then let's create an internet gateway. Create an internet gateway, name it and create it. So let's click on attach and then choose our VPC, attached it. Now go to route tables. Whenever you create a VPC, it automatically creates a one route table as well. I'm just gonna name it as public RT and save, and then create one more route table, private RT, select a VPC, and then create. So once you create route tables, we need to set route as well. So in the routes, edit routes, and then as this is a public route table, we named it, so we are going to then send a 00 traffic to internet gateway. In the private, I'm not going to put anything, but in public subnet, I'm gonna associate our subnets, public sub 1, pub sub 2 and 1, associate them. Now go to private RT, click on edit subnet association 1 and 2. So we added those subnets to this route table, and then go to subnets, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to enable auto assign public IP. So click on edit subnet settings, because I usually forget whenever I create EC2 machine, so sometimes I forget to assign public IP. So that's why if you enable it, it comes into automatically. So we are done here. Now let's go to EC2 and then go to security groups. Let's create those first. Create a, I'm gonna call it WebSZ, allow traffic from ALP. So we are going to allow this traffic from ALB only. So for now I'm gonna keep it from everywhere. Later I can change it. You can choose anyway and add a rule HTTP as well. And anyway, click on save. Let's add a tag so easily we can identify easily. And then one more security group for ALB, allow from everywhere. Select and then add HTTP from anywhere and HTTPS as well from anywhere, because we are exposing this ALB to internet. And then we need one more security group for DB. So DBSZ allow from WebSZ. Select VPC and then add rule. So as this is going to be a SQL one, so we need to open port 3306 from our security group WebSC. Now click on create. So now we got three security groups. Now let's jump into instances. Click on launch instance. Before that, let's create a key pair. So I'm gonna delete this, the old one. Create a new key pair. So let me delete from my system as well. Let's create a key pair, WordPress, and download the private key. So once I create, it automatically downloads it. And then jump back to EC2 instances again, click on launch instances. And then actually before doing this, let's jump back to Route 53 because that is going to take a while to propagate DNS records. So go to Route 53 and then hosted zones, give it your domain name, whichever you bought. We have AWS hero.shop, create hosted zone. So this is going to be public faced, and click on this one so you can get these NS records, get them, then go to your domain provider. In my case I have a GoDaddy. Click on name servers and then change name servers. I'll use my own, paste those values as you got from Route 53. Let's get this and this one. We have a video on DNS records as well. I'm just gonna put that in the description. Continue. Yeah, that's been done. It's gonna take a while. If you do dig Google, and then put your domain. So if you look for NS, these were from earlier actually. So we got a new record, so it's gonna update soon. Meanwhile, let's launch our instance. Let's say WordPress, choose Amazon Linux, and then I'm gonna go with T2 medium because that's a bigger machine. You can go with the free tier machine as well. So let's choose our key, click on edit network settings, choose our VPC, and then make sure to put this in public subnet. Select existing circuit group and the one we created earlier, WebSZ, and then I'm gonna give it 20 GB and launch instance. So this one will be launching. Meanwhile, I'll go to RDS and then here we need to create a subnet group. So this is where we are going to put our database RDS, and then I'm going to say WordPress subnets, put same description, and then choose VPC. Here choose availability zones. We have our subnets in 1A and 1B, and then choose those subnets. So we are going to put this in private subnets. You can see this diagram. So we have the subnet group. Now click on databases, create database, MySQL, scroll down, so choose free tier. It's gonna be loading, yeah. And then single AZ would be fine, just at a testing purpose. We don't need high availability. You can name it anything. Let's name it WordPress. We are using, you can use any name, so I'm gonna use admin for the username, and the password AWS and DevOps. AWS and DevOps. So if you put at the right symbol, it doesn't accept, because you can see it says it's not going to accept at the right and forward slash as well. Scroll down, leave here. You can choose the SZ for DB we created earlier, and then just leave everything as is and click on create database. Okay, now let's connect it to our machine. WordPress. So just go to the folder wherever you have that key downloaded. Now let's change the permissions for that key, because let me show you. If you run it ssh-i and the key name default user is EC2-user for Amazon Linux, and put the public IP, you're gonna get this error because it says key unprotected. So now you can change that key permissions and then rerun this command. Now we are in. Let's do sudo su. Now we need to run these commands to install packages. This one is going to run DNF update, and then going to install MySQL client, HTTP, there's a web server and all the dependencies, and then it's going to start this HTTP service. And then it's going to download this WordPress, unzips it, and it copies to this folder, and then it's going to make this folder owner and user Apache, and then change its permissions. So let's run this. Meanwhile, let's check whether it's been updated. Name servers. Okay, let's wait for a while. Yeah, it's been done. Now, if you put this public IP, yeah, you're gonna get this page. But we haven't set the database yet, so let's do that. Now run this command MySQL -h. Let's get this database endpoint. So if we refresh it, yeah, it's still creating. Meanwhile, what we can do, let's edit this file. We need to go to this directory, and then we're going to copy this to this file, and then we're going to open that in VI. Let's paste it. If you scroll down or go down, you can see you need to define DB name. So we are going to create a DB WordPress. and then we used admin user while creating RDS, and then put the password. We basically use environment variables for this, but this is just testing, so you can hardcode them. It's AWS ein DevOps. We need to give this endpoint. Let's get this endpoint. If you refresh it, now you got this endpoint. That's fine. Just save it. Now restart HTTPD service. Restart HTTP. That's a web server. If you refresh it, it says the file WP already exists. Okay, let's go back. Just visit this. Now it says error establishing a database connection because we need to create the database. So MySQL-H, the database endpoint, and then -u stands for user admin, and then -p for the password. So AWS and DevOps. We are into the SQL now. Now run this command to create database. Create database. The database name is WordPress. That's what we given in the configuration file. Okay. Now it's done. If you refresh it, now you can see this page. Continue. Just create. I'm gonna use same user. You can use any user. I'm just gonna put same password. Then any email. Then click on install. It's done now. Now you can click on login. Admin. Now we are in. So if you check this page, if you copy this public IP, now you can see our WordPress website. Now let's connect with the domain now. So before doing that, let's create ALB. So we need to create ALB and we need to forward that request to machine. So let's do that. Go to load balancers. So load balancer needs a target group. So let's create that. Create target group, EC2 instances, and then I'm going to say ALB port 80. That's fine. And then VPC, just leave everything as is and click on next. We are going to add our instance to this target group, include as pending, and then next, and then create it. So if you go to targets, you can see it's unused because nothing is forwarding to request to this target group. So let's create load balancer now and then create it. Create ALB and then VPC, select our, so it is public based, so that's why we need to create this in public subnets. So 1 and 2, that looks great. Now let's select our security group we created earlier for ALB and then port 80. We're going to forward this to ALB group and then click on create. Let's refresh this page. It's provisioning, so we got DNS name as well. Let's put that DNS name. Let's wait for a while. It's still provisioning. And then meanwhile, if you go to target groups, if you refresh it, select it, and if you look at the targets, still says unused. Let's wait for a while. refresh this page, go to load balances again. It's still provisioning, that's fine. If you go to dig Google, let's check this one. It's pointing to 25. Okay, let's refresh this page actually. AWS hero.shop. Now it's pointing to 1925. Let's see, we have different records actually. That's fine. Let's wait for a file. So meanwhile we can set that. We can go to route 53 hosted zone, and now click on create record, and then next define simple record. Just naked domain would be fine. Now let's choose endpoint application load balancer, and your reason we are deploying everything at US East 1, and then choose load balancer, define simple record, create record. So if you come back, now if you put that load balancer's DNS name, you can see this page. At the moment it's serving only HTTP. Now let's change this to HTTP. Yes, come back. We created this DNS record. Let's wait for a while. Meanwhile it's gonna update. Now look for certificate manager, click on request, and then next we need our domain. So in order to get this certificate we need to have these records propagated. That's why sometimes in this UI doesn't update, but let's give it a try. So click on domain and then disable, and next. Now request. Now it's going to ask us to create DNS records to prove that we own the domain. Click on create records and route 53. Create records. It's created. If this DNS records updated, then it's gonna issue a certificate for us. Still pending. Yeah, it's issued. That means our DNS records propagated. So if you look here, AWS hero.shop, this is serving as HTTPS. Just go with HTTP. We haven't set up HTTPS yet. Let me open this in it's AWS hero.shop. Now we can see this. So let's set up HTTPS for this website now. If we go back, we got the certificate. Now let's go to our load balancer, click on it, and then click on listeners. We have only port 8. We are listening on only 80. Now let's set up HTTPS as well, and then we're gonna forward to the same target group, but we need to choose a certificate and then add listener. That's been done. If you go over here, if you put HTTPS, now we can see if you click on this paddle lock, you can see it's been issued today. It's gonna expire after 1 year. Now, but still you can see HTTPS as well. So let's implement the redirection. I mean, this is auto redirecting, but we need to implement that at AWS and HTTP colon AWS hero.shop. That's redirecting, but it's not really redirecting. That's because of cached. So let's create that. Now how you going to do that? Go to listeners and edit listener. If someone with is on port 80, it's gonna redirect to HTTPS and port number 443. Now save changes. That's been done. Now if you go to EC2 instances, now we need to secure the server. What we're gonna do, click on this web. If you get this IP address, if you visit it now, still you can see right with the IP. And then what I'm going to do, click on security group, edit inbound rules. So this port 80 should be only working from, let's delete this one, and then this one SSL should work only from our IP. So look, just choose my IP. So if someone else try to reach our server and with a different IP address, it's not going to be enabled. Now add HTTP from only our ALB group. Save rules. Now if you refresh it, it's not going to work. So it's not going to load. So that's how we secure. Our DB accepts only requests from our security, our EC2 machine. So this is how you can create a WordPress application on AWS by using RDS for PaaS service. And then let me show you one more thing. If you go to EC2 console, if you click on, even if you refresh it, you don't see that RDS instance because that AWS manages the instance for RDS. But what you can see if you go to interfaces, network interfaces, you can see that interface for RDS instance. Now let's clean up these services, otherwise you will be charged. So let's go to instances, just right, go to RDS, destroy this, just delete it. Don't make any snapshots, otherwise you will be charged. Just type delete me and then go to load balancer, delete this one, and then go to route 53. First delete this record, otherwise it's not gonna allow. If you try to delete zone, even if you type it delete, it's not gonna allow us to delete because we need to delete this record first. So delete this record and then delete this hosted zone, otherwise it's gonna charge, you will be charged 50 pence for a single hosted zone a month. That's fine, I'm just gonna keep it, so you can delete it. We done, we delete this EC2 as well, and then database as well, and there will be no charges for certificate. That's fine. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.